My name is Ralph White. I am an alcoholic. I want to thank you for those words, sir. And I want to thank you for your service. One of the people that was up here leading the meeting introduced the committee that was back here and said they were the least important people in the room. And when you get to the podium, if you're not so new, one of the things that we are careful of is to never inflate ourselves, so we go the other way. And so we do the humility thing. I'm not going to crosstalk, but I'm going to suggest that that committee certainly was not the least important group up in here, you know. Nor are you. Anybody sitting up in here, nor are you. Not the least important, not the most important. I'm important. You special. You got something only you can do. I used to think to myself, I need Alcoholics Anonymous. Alcoholics Anonymous does not need me. Like a lot of things that I used to think and I used to believe and I used to say, that's morphed, that's changed over time. And I believe that everybody in here has an assignment. I believe everybody in here has been touched. I believe everybody in here is walking under that same grace. I believe everybody in here has something that only they can bring to the table. I believe that somebody sitting way up there, you already brought me a message. I was like, why would y'all be at the top of the arena That's my knuckleheads. Clearly. And I don't know. I want to talk to him, though, and wonder, what made you, because I don't even want to climb that far, you know, but I'm like, so you got a message too. Whoever, everybody in here has got a message, and it's important. It's unique to you. You might be the only voice somebody hears. You might be the only book somebody reads. You might be the 12-step call that nobody else can make. You might be positioned where nobody else is positioned. You don't even know. I think I know when I come to a meeting, while I'm sitting in here at a meeting. I've learned over time that I only scratch the surface. I didn't know I was going to come out here. Get off the soapbox. You know, I'm going to move it over. But I might get back on it, you guys. We don't know what's going to happen this morning. You know what? When you get a speaker and you start talking to yourself and you get to blaming the speaker, don't blame the speaker. Don't blame the speaker. The speaker only got what they got. Somebody up here picked them, so... Tony, in his infinite wisdom, felt like my sobriety date is October 11, 1986. I'm from Los Angeles, California. You know, this is a place that I come and I'm humble because I say I'm 37 years sober. A lot of places I go, you know, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm rolling up in here 37. Here at Founders Day, I feel like a baby, you know. I recognize, I say it a lot, but when we come to an event like this, I get to feel it. I get to personalize it. I get to really understand that I do indeed walk on the shoulders of giants. You know, Miss Ethel, I want to thank you. You know, it's a lot of young folk in here, and it'd be people that come tell me, I wasn't even born when you got sober, but I don't get to say that to a lot of people, you know. I'm not going to say it to you, Miss Ethel, but it was close. I'm 70 years old, and that lady is 69 years old. We walk on the shoulders of giants. Mr. Hicken, I want to thank you for keeping the light on. Debbie D, I want to thank you. You know, some people will say, why are you name dropping up at the podium? You know what? We come from real dark places. We come from places where they was name dropping on us and it wasn't our name. You have people that say we don't put people on pedestals and we don't have heroes. Well, when I was 9 years old and 10 years old, Maury Wills was my hero. I wanted to wear number 30 and I wanted to play for the Dodgers. When I was a kid growing up listening to Marvin and listening to the Jacksons, I wanted to be like them. And none of them added anything to the fabric and texture of my life. So when I come to the life-saving, life-changing experience that is Alcoholics Anonymous, and there's some people in here who changed me and contribute. And we got angels up in here. And like a lot of us, they ain't the angels that were in my mom's church at the Tabernacle of Faith Baptist Church where I grew up. It's not those kind of angels. I like my angels like we have here in Alcoholics Anonymous, the angels with dirty faces, Some of y'all know, and that's what we are, angels with dirty faces. I like it because I get dirty. I fall on my face, I scrape my knee, I do a lot of that. Dude, when you gonna get to soul? We're storytellers in Alcoholics Anonymous, and I'm indeed follow that because I found that a couple of things happen with that, and you guys did it for us this weekend. Starting with, I think the first person I heard this weekend outside of the meeting I went off to and saw my boy Larry, but I heard Pete, and powerful message. I identified, I laughed, I walked with him through his journey. And then, I think the next person that came up, and he had sweat under his armpits, my boy Drew. Thank you for that message, sir. Thank you for coming up here and sharing with us your experience, strength, and hope. Mark, me and Leslie were talking about Mark in the room, funny, witty. I still wanted to know what he did with all them animals in the garage. We tell the story, but sometime I'll be wanting to follow you home and find out, tell me, how it ended. I get into it with you guys. That panel, the old timers panel, Miss Ethel and Jimmy, and oh my God, Mari G, who's been a person who's been a friend of mine and a mentor to me. And then we were gifted and we were blessed with Jeff V last night with a powerful, powerful message. Trust me, I'm going to get past the preliminaries and I'm going to get to me. Don't trip. But we got to Jeff. And the reason I was reflecting on that, you guys, is we're storytellers. At our best, that's what we do. Now, we have a couple of kinds of speakers in Alcoholics Anonymous. I like to call them, we have head speakers, I call them. And that's cool because I'm like that. I like to figure stuff out. I'm an analyzing guy. I'm a figure outer and the rest. But every now and then the people that's the head speakers always quoting the pages and walking me through and correcting me. Sometimes it feel like finger in your face. Get your finger on my face. Stop. I'm not that guy. And then we got the other kind of speaker. A brother in my home group, 9604 South Figueroa, used to say, when heart speaks, heart hears. And in Alcoholics Anonymous, we speak the language of the heart, and I recognize it. I was telling Drew when he get up here, it's a lot of stuff that don't sound like spiritual axioms that we bring from the street, but they're really spiritual axioms. One spiritual axiom that we bring from the street is game, recognized game. And when you get up here at the podium and you start sharing, people in these rooms, we know when we hear it authentic, we know when we hear it genuine, we know when we hear it real, and we know when we hear it transparent, and we really know when we hear them from the heart, and so that thing that you guys have given me, that I didn't come here with, because what I really come here with is I'm a perpetrator, I'm an imposter, and I'm scared. and that is my makeup from an early age. I grew up in South Central Los Angeles. One of 6 boys. My old man was an alcoholic, and my earliest memory of him was he was weak, and I didn't like him, and he wasn't abusive, and he wasn't violent. He was an absentee drunk, and every other Friday, he would not show up with a check. My old man got put out the house when I was 8 or 9 years old, and Mom started raising 6 boys by herself, little 2-bedroom apartment in Watts. My mom was on welfare back in the 60s, and my mom was a domestic. She used to wash clothes and iron clothes for other folks. She'd scrub their floors, and she'd do their bathrooms. And when I was a kid, I would be 8 or 9 years old. I would wait at the bus stop for my mom to come home. She'd catch 3 buses to the valley, and I'd wait at the bus stop for her to come home. And at a certain point, my mom stopped coming home at night on the bus. She had gone back to Fremont Adult School and put herself through high school, and she went back and put herself through college, and she worked 2 jobs. And when you look back on your life, you say, damn, I had a hell of a mom. Look how she sacrificed to raise her boys. But when you're a kid and you're about 9 or 10 years old, you don't feel proud, and and you feel ashamed and embarrassed, and you stop bringing partners home from school. And if your name is Ralph, you live in the prison I've lived in much of my life, and that's the prison of what I think you think about me. I don't know what you think about me, but I'm trapped in what I think you think about me, and I will do whatever it takes to shape and form and mold your opinion of Ralph. I'll wine you, I'll dine you, I'll woo you, I'll con you, I'll bully you, I'll manipulate you, I'll buy you. Please like me. Now, I don't particularly have to like your behind, but please like me. So I'm growing up like that, and that's the prison I've lived in. When we get to our 3rd step and we get on our knees and we talk about freedom from bondage to self, I intuitively knew what bondage to self looked like. I didn't give it those words, but I've always been a guy that was very tightly wound. I've always been a guy, my partner Les, she's spontaneous, she's fire, I'm ice. I've always been a calculating guy. I've always wondered how what I'm going to say is going to land on you. I'm hypersensitive. I'm overly aware of your response to whatever it is I'm doing. So I can never be spontaneous. I can never be myself. I'm always wondering how can I present to make you like me? Water. And can I have some water? And as a result of that, thank you, sir. In Alcoholics Anonymous, I'll stop in the middle of a sentence and go to a new one, no trip. In Alcoholics Anonymous, if you're new to the rooms, and I don't know if we had any new people. We had a lot of new people there in the arena last night. I'm going to assume we have some that's in here now. If you go to a lot of meetings of Alcoholics Anonymous, you'll hear some common themes from our members. And one of the common themes you'll hear from most of our members that get up behind this podium is, I never felt like I fit in. And that's not my story. I'm a little guy, I like a lot of attention. I've never been interested in fitting in. I've always wanted to stand out. And as a result of that, I achieved and I accomplished some stuff growing up. If you missed the 60s, you missed it. That's all I can tell you. Because I'm a kid that grew up in the 60s, and the 60s was a turbulent time. It was an optimistic time. It was a promising time. It was a time when anything seemed possible. On one of the reasons I talk about my mom so much is she left a stamp on me. And the stamp that she left on me as a result of her example, still the most powerful spiritual example of spiritual living that I have in my own life, right, is my mom. And my mom left me with the idea imprinted that you can do and be whatever it is you choose to do and be. And I saw it in front of my face. And so I've always been a guy, you guys, that thought I would leave footprints. I've always been a guy that thought I would make a mark and leave a mark. I've always been a guy that thought I'd be an asset to my community and I'd make my family proud. The 60s was that kind of time. Optimistic, we're going to change the world, and I'm caught up in it, right? And so I'm growing up like that. I'm a high achieving guy, usually class president, student body president, straight A student, teacher's pet, played ball, made all-stars. On the outside, it should have been okay. On the inside, I've always felt like if you really knew me, you wouldn't like me. Yeah, I was teacher's pet. Yeah, I was straight A student. Would have traded it all in if I could have been cool. If I just could have been cool, you guys. Because in my neighborhood, there was a whole lot more currency placed on cool than on smart, you know. So I'm growing up like that, and I'm 16 years old before I take my first drink. I realized that's late in Alcoholics Anonymous as I listen to you guys' stories, right? It took me a while to get comfortable telling my story in AA, because this is the first place I ever landed where folk try to out-bottom each other, right? And I wanted a penitentiary story, but I didn't want to go to the pen to get it. And my story's my story. I'm not going to get another one. I'm 16 years old. I'm a shy guy. I'm a square guy. I'm scared of girls. And that's what found me when I took my first drink at 16. I'm not going to dwell on that one too much because I took a drink. You know, it was all right. It was in the back seat of a buddy's car, you know. And I hear a lot of people when they share about that first drink. All the speakers this weekend shared when they took their first drink from out of the gate, out of the chute, they were alcoholic. That ain't my story. You know, the first time I drank at 16, it was all right. And I was with my girlfriend, you know, and I was in an older buddy's car, him and his girl in the front, me and my girl in the back, took a sip of this rum and coke, you know, and it went down real warm, and all of a sudden Ralph's hands started doing things they had never done, mouth started saying things it had never said. I had arrived, you know, but I didn't get pissy drunk, I didn't throw up all over myself, I didn't make a fool out of myself. I got a warm, tipsy feeling, kissed, licked, sucked on my girl in some places I had never done before, and that's how my drinking stayed. I would go out and drink when I went out on the weekends. Now, my drinking started in earnest when I turned 18 and I went off to college. And so I go off to UCLA and I'm living in the dorms, and this is 1971, and you needed to be in 1971. You know, it's earth, wind, and fire on a Sunday. If you were in Southern California and you a youngster and you 18 and you got some boys and it's 1971 and Marvin or Earth Wind is blasting, and you got some Tyrolia or some Annie Green Springs or some Boone's Farm or some Yago or some Brass Monkey. Oh my God, who wouldn't want that? You know, so I never drank, you guys, to escape. I heard some of the speakers this weekend say when they drank, you know, they got bigger, they got stronger, and hey, check this out. This is the being about identifying in Alcoholics Anonymous, because I can find the identification anywhere. I heard a lady share, and I've heard a couple of ladies steal it from her, but I heard a lady share that when she drank, she got wittier, tittier, and prettier. I was like, oh, and I identified, right? You know, but it didn't do that for me. I didn't get stronger. I didn't get bigger. I'm this scary guy. Check this out. Because I walk around here with the superiority, you know, I'm masked with this. I have this inferiority complex. I'm masked with a superiority, right? But I'm never level. I'm either better than or I'm less than, but I'm scary, right? And I'm tongue-tied, and I don't know how to talk to girls. And I have a pretty boy that's in my crew all the time, and we be at the club or something, and we're at the club, and I ease up next to Tony because he's got a girl in the corner, and I'm ear hustling because I want to know, what do you say to make a girl giggle? What do you do? Because I don't know how to make a girl giggle, right? I don't have that in me. But I take this drink, and what happens, you guys, it's not that I become somebody I'm not, but the real Ralph comes out and plays. Because I've always been walking around as this shy guy looking at the world, thinking to myself, yeah, but if I could get the words out, you need to know I got a whole lot to say. And because I'm always judging, I'm always controlling. So the real Ralph, alcohol I did not drink to escape. I drink beverage alcohol to join. It made me a part of. It made the real Ralph come out and play. And in 1971, it was cool. You know, so in the big book, Alcoholics Anonymous, which I didn't know how to read. 1985, I came and I visited. And when I came in 1985, I didn't know the fundamentals of going to meetings. I didn't know how to come and listen for the similarities and not listen for the differences. So when I would read the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, that first time I came around, I would find all the differences. I would read the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, and I'd read Bill's story. Bill is an older white guy. We ain't got that in common. Bill is a veteran of foreign wars, Vietnam era draft dodger. Bill in his story talked about there had been no real infidelity. Miss me on that one too. So I would always find all the differences. And when I came back to Alcoholics Anonymous to stay, somebody had to teach me how to read the big book Alcoholics Anonymous. And they said, Ralph, the same way that you read the big book Alcoholics Anonymous is the same way that you listen to our members share their experience, strength, and hope at the meetings. When you read the big book Alcoholics Anonymous, or when you listen to our members share their experience, strength, and hope, ask yourself 3 or 4 questions. Ask yourself, did I drink like he drank? Did I think like he thought? Did I feel like he felt? Or did I do what he did? And when I'm at this major university in 1971, you guys, just like Bill, the drive for success was on. I proved to the world I was important. Just like him, drink started taking a more important and exhilarating part in my life too. And I'm off in it, man, and you can't tell me. I nearly failed. Everybody has their own benchmark and their own standards, their own places where you cross lines that you said you would never cross. Now, there are some cats in here that started suffering consequences going to the penitentiary, going to county jail all the time, and it might shake you early in your drinking. This might sound crazy to anybody else, but I had never seen a C in high school. And so in my freshman year, I'm drinking. 1 year into drinking, I'm on academic probation, and I'm on subject to dismissal. Shook me. Sophomore year, I was accustomed to it. I started telling myself the kind of things that guys like me tell myself. And I get my boys around me and we say it to each other and we support each other. Oh, don't worry about it. As long as we come out, don't nobody care how I look going in. Just a lot. And so I'm on probation all the time. I'm taking withdrawals from classes. I'm on subject to dismiss. I'm raggedy. I never been raggedy in school, you guys, but alcohol does what it is that it does. I'm described in the big book Alcoholics Anonymous in our chapter, There is a Solution. And I'm described in the paragraph that says, but what about the real alcoholic? I don't know I'm in that paragraph. I think I'm in the paragraph right before that one that talks about the heavy drinker given a sufficient reason to stop or moderate, right? Because in the 70s, when I started suffering some losses, I remember saying to myself, distinctly, I'm going to come up out of this phase of partying every night of the week, this phase of, withdrawing from class all the time, this phase of, they would give you credit cards when you A guy like me, I didn't take it as a credit card. I took it as a gift. So, I'm 19, 20 years old. I'm already got, almost a negative credit. I'm raggedy, right? And so I said to myself, I'm going to outgrow this thing. I'm going to come up out of this, and I'm going to slow this foolishness down. I'm going to grow up. I'm going to straighten up. I'm going to fly right. I never said I'm going to shut it down. I said I'm going to slow it down. When we graduated from school in 75, 76, my boys started going off, and they had jobs, careers, families, grad school. I got that thing. I don't know it. Wouldn't have mattered if I knew it. But I don't know it. And what I have doesn't show up on the x-ray, won't show up on a CAT scan, won't show up on the MRI, won't even show up in your blood alcohol test. Now, some of you DUI guys are saying, wait a minute, my alcohol levels showed up in my blood. Yeah, alcohol will show up, but not alcoholism. And I got that thing. Don't know it. Going about my business. Get married in 1980 on a Saturday afternoon in April. A couple of baffling features about the disease I suffer from. One of them is this. I can't see my relationship with alcohol until I'm free of it. I can't see what it's doing to me when I'm in the mix. So some of the things that are crystal clear to me now looking back in the rearview mirror of experience, were not at all clear to me when I was going through it. One fact stands out real clear to me about the days I thought alcohol was working. I used to go to work for 2 weeks to live for 2 days. That's it, that's all. Got married Saturday afternoon in April, looking back, which is the only way I can see my experience for real. Me and Jimmy have a sponsor, and my sponsor, who is Bob B., out of St. Paul, Minnesota. My sponsor likes to say life is lived forward but understood backward. And so looking back, I realized I was across what we call that invisible line. Alcohol ceased to be a luxury, became a necessity, region from which is no return through human aid. That's how Bill classifies it in our book. I've been across that line, man, probably since 77. And I got married in 1980. Bad idea. Got married to my college sweetheart. I met her when I was 19. We got together. I was 20. She was 19. Match made in heaven. 2 kids with dreams, goals, hopes, and ambitions. First kid off my block to go to college. First kid out of her family to go to college. But now it's all these many years later, man, and we walk down the aisle, and I had a bachelor party the night before my wedding, and that's a big mistake. Nobody else is getting married the next day. All of them got sense enough to go home at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm still at my bachelor till 7:30 in the morning, right? Me and my brothers. 4 of us are in the program right now. Got me home at 7:30. Poured me in the bed, got me up at 10 o'clock for my 1 o'clock wedding. Supposed to say my own vows at this wedding. When I showed up, apparently the stagger was so severe that my then wife-to-be took one look at me staggering, said, okay, scratch the own vows, say the regular on him, right? And so we get into the ceremony, gets ready, it gets to me, I get ready to say, and threw up all over. Passed out, have not taken a wedding picture to this day. So we go home from the wedding and no pictures, no evidence. We go on the honeymoon, 7 days. We don't discuss the debacle, that wedding ceremony. We don't discuss it at all during the 7 days of the honeymoon. And we get home from the honeymoon, and I get home with a wife, and she gets home with a tornado. And guys like me are heartbreakers. We don't mean to be. We don't try to be. It's just the way it is. I share with you that I got this thing, and more accurately, this thing's got me. In our book, Bill talks about I'm in the grips of a progressive illness. My friend, the late, great Leon Strange, used to say, me drinking is like having sex with a gorilla. You ain't through till the gorilla is through. And the cold thing about me being in the grips of a disease that's progressive is if I'm in the grips and it's got me, if you with me, it's got you too. And you ain't got a say in the matter. Ladies, it probably would have been better if I was the bad boy. I'm not the bad boy. If I'm the bad boy, you already know. I'm going to go put money on his books. I'm going to make a conscious decision to be his ride or die. I'm going to be Bonnie to his Clyde. I know what I'm getting into. I'm not that guy. I sell you a bill of goods. I raise your hopes. I'm the guy that builds up the structure and tears it down with a series of sprees. I'm the tear down guy. I'm the guy that when you get with me, get ready to have candles in the house. Because we gonna always have the utilities cut off. When you get with me, be prepared to see the landlord every month. I ain't gonna sing. When you get with me, be prepared to tell your mom or my mom on Christmas or Thanksgiving why it is again this year you showing up without your husband. When you get with a guy like me, be prepared to get knocks on the door, strange guys there demanding their money. When you get with a guy like me, sleep with the purse up under the pillow. When you get with me, and I went in the purse one too many times, and I came home one morning and the screen door was locked and a note was on the screen. The rest of your stuff is at your mama's house. Suitcase on the porch. I'm put out my house. I'm now my daddy. That was the year of 1985. And over the course of that year, my 5 brothers got put out of their respective homes. All of us ended up in my mom's house. And we almost killed her. When I got put out of my house and went to stay at my mom's house, my ex-wife thought it was something salvageable about this piece of man she married. Would bring my daughter over on Saturdays so we could keep a father-daughter relationship. I wanted to be a father to my little girl with everything in me. I wanted to take her to Disneyland, and I wanted to take her to Magic Mountain. I wanted to take her to a movie on a Saturday afternoon. I wanted to walk up the street with her little hand in my big hand, buy her some ice cream. I wanted to sit her in my lap and read stories to her. I wanted to tuck her in bed at night and get a good night kiss. I wanted to get the look from my girl, like men in the fellowship get. The look like, this is my daddy and this is my hero. And the best I could do on those Saturdays was 30 minutes. Tell my mom something like, I'm going to the store to buy Rain some ice cream. I would disappear. Sneak back on Sunday night when her mom was coming to get her. Still remember some of those long Sunday nights, man, standing around the back of my mom's house, sticking my head around the side, tears flowing. And I see those heads in the car and those headlights backing out the driveway, and I think to myself, there goes my life backing out this driveway. And I've heard a lot of people share they were scared of dying out there, and that's not my story. Never scared of dying. Scared I was going to keep waking up to the same old thing. Monday the same as Tuesday, same as Sunday, the same as Christmas, over and over and over again. And I'm so glad God don't make misery comfortable. And on October 11th, 1986, I got miserable enough. I got tired enough. I got directed to my 4th program of recovery. And it's interesting to me, I've changed my thoughts about that October in 1986. Changed my thoughts about my participation in it. Changed my thoughts about my sponsorship around surrender. You know how you might be sponsoring somebody, and you might be working with somebody new, and you trying to get them to see this business of surrender, and you just need to, you know what? The only participation I had, I think, in that endeavor at all was I was an active participant in the disease of alcoholism. And I think that I was gifted on the night of October the 11th, the night of October the 10th, 1986. I was gifted with something that everybody sitting in here has been gifted with. A lot of times I think I take credit for it. I can't speak for anybody else in here. I take credit for the surrender. I take credit for the beatdown. I take credit for the fact I think I just got tired of being sick and tired. But I have been tired of being sick and tired for many times and for a long time. I don't know what it was that happened. That's why when we say our stories disclose in a general way what we used to be like, what happened, and most of us say, what happened? We don't know. Something happened. That's the best way. I love when Leslie's sharing her story. Something happened. The night of October the 10th, 1986, something happened. I'm in the birthplace. I sometimes get chills that something happened here. 89 years ago. Something happened here. Now, something happened to a gentleman in December of 1934, and it was singular, and that something was so profound that he talked about it later on. Bill Wilson talked about this experience he had when he was sitting in Towns Hospital for the third time that year, and he described it later on as a white light experience. I think Jeff talked about it last night, and he talked about this experience being sudden and profound. He said later, God comes to most men gradually, but his impact on me was sudden and profound. And I certainly agreed with that statement for a long time. As a guy I listened to, Clint Hodges, and I was listening to him one night, and I was like, wow, he opened me up to something. Check this out. I started drinking when I was 18 years old. I started drinking in the summer of 1971. 18-year-old kid, the world in front of him, dreams, goals, hopes, and ambitions. My 16-year-old goal was, I'm going to be the first black president of the United States. And where I came from and in my neighborhood, and I'm a high achiever, and you needed to be there in the 60s, people would say, that's not way out. Go for it. You probably won't get it, but aiming for that goal is an admirable goal for you to go. So the reason I'm sharing that with you guys is I didn't come out to shoot with ideas of being here on Founders Day. I thought if I would be behind a podium, it would be in some state house somewhere. Thank God, God got plans that's way greater than this dude's right here. And so I went on a twisty, windy road, and I went to the dark place, and I did the aimless walk. And I'm one of the ones that come from, I had a lot of things, but I lost a lot of things. I'm the one that's described in the book as the real Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I'm the one that I was working in management in the law department of a major utility company. Had about 80 people working under me. I sat in the office with a big glass window. I looked out on the workforce. The downside of that is the workforce could look in on me. And you come in on one of them 6-day runs and you do the whiplash thing and you look to see if anybody looking and everybody's looking. That ain't cool. I'm businessman by day and I'm vampire by night. You know how that dynamic works. The vampire always outgrows the businessman. The vampire always outgrows the housewife. The vampire always outgrows the soccer coach. And one day they called the vampire in and said, dude, you got to go. Take do with you. Bam, I'm out my dream job. And guys like me don't get second chances. So when I landed on the shores of Alcoholics Anonymous that October in 1980, I was cooked. Goose cooked, done deal, stick a fork. I'm surrendered. I didn't surrender. I was surrendered. But something happened to this kid with these dreams, goals, hopes, and ambitions. This happy-go-lucky kid at 18 that started drinking Annie Green Springs and Tyrolia. This kid that was mixing drinks, thought he was a grown man at 19 or 20, and now I got my own place and I'm mixing, daiquiris and I'm experimenting and I'm bringing girls and I'm a single guy and I'm thinking I'm grown and oh my God, look at what they do at the club, and I'm a club guy, and so this and it's coming on me. It's coming. I can't put it down. And I'm not trying to put it down. Why would you? It's a party. And then it stopped being a party. See, my story is different. That I didn't come out to shoot alcohol. It crept up on me, you guys. But pretty soon I look back and I'm in it. I'm in it deep. And I couldn't get it. So I can't stop. I became a daily drinker probably when I was 19 or 20. So from then until I was 33 years old, I could not put it down. From 18 years old to 33 years old, could not put it down. Something happened on October the 10th. And from October the 11th to this day, I have not picked it up. On the day of October 10th, you couldn't have told me that I'd be with you on the day of October the 11th. Who knew? Isn't that amazing? This business of grace. It doesn't come at you when you knew, and when you coming out the streets and when you coming out the cold, the way grace comes is not so graceful. When you've been doing this for a little while, when you've been doing it like we've been doing it for a long time, we know it and we see it and we call it by name. We recognize it. You know, at first it used to be coincidence, and at first it used to be, ooh, that's good luck. At first we used to, but now we know what it is. We see it. We've come to expect it. We sit at the preschool graduation and our kid is up there for 30 seconds. We got to sit for 2 hours, but we almost get overcome with tears because we know we're sitting in the seat of grace, because people like us don't show up for the kids. You know, we sit at the high school graduation and we know we're sitting in the seat of grace because folk like us, if we did show up, they wish we hadn't. That's my baby up there. Oh, you know, they don't know whether they want us to not show up or to show up. We those kind of people, right? You know, and so we know. You be sitting in the car in the passenger seat, and your 16-year-old son or daughter is sitting in the driver's seat, and they scaring you to death, and they go up on a curb, and sometimes they look to the side at you, and you shaking and you crying, and they think you made you cry, but you crying because you know it's grace, because you giving that boy, that girl, their first driving lesson, and it's you, and it's you. You come out that college dorm room and you go up there for the first time and you put the stuff in there and you sit when you're getting ready to leave and you sit in the car for a little while because you know, damn, is this me? Is it me? And you sit at that first Christmas sober and the gifts are under the tree. And you didn't take them back, and you sit up and you open them and you give them some little pajamas or something. You cook cookies out and do the square stuff that folk like us don't do. And you put cookies out and you say, oh my God, I know. But when you knew, and you knew to this, in this business of grace, it don't look graceful. That first day, that first grace that most of us get, for a lot of us, is handcuffs. That don't look like grace, but oh my God, that's amazing grace. For some people, it looked like all the clothes on the front lawn. That's amazing grace. For some people, it looked like the brown box when you're being walked out the job. That's amazing grace. You know, and in my case, on the night of October the 10th, 1986, it looked like two youngsters approaching me on the street with their pants sagging. And some bad stuff going on that night. And who knew grace would show up in sagging pants? Oh my God, the best, worst day of my life. Every single one of us have a best, worst day. Who knew I was getting ready to step through the looking glass and I was going to be leaving that life and I'm coming to a brand new life and didn't know it. October the 10th, 1986, you know, from 1971 to October 10th, 80, couldn't put it down. From October the 11th to now, haven't picked it up. I submit to you that God's impact on me was sudden and profound. I just didn't know it. I just didn't know it. Now, he came to me slowly, and he came to me through you guys. Oh my God. So I started, you know, and this is the part I like in the story. And if you get into the rhythm, alcohol, you know, the reason we're storytellers, we've discovered a couple of things about this business of storytelling. Number one, it is the language of spirituality. There's no other way to approach the matters we approach except through storytelling. I defy you to give me the formula for grace. How do you put this power in words? Jeff last night talked about we don't define alcoholism. I know some of you thumpers out there wanted to pull him off the stage and say, wait a minute. In the doctor's opinion, we have a description, no definition. We describe what it is. You know, so thumpers out there, you know, that would have been me. I like it. You know, we have some phases of development in Alcoholics Anonymous, you know. And some of the phases, I hear them, you know, some of the phases, you know, that's like me. You know, if I've got any gifts, and my sponsor shares it sometime too. If I have any enduring gifts in Alcoholics Anonymous, one of them is this. I've always found you fascinating. I've not ever wanted to leave Alcoholics Anonymous. I found life challenging a lot, but it's never been hard for me to maintain my membership in Alcoholics Anonymous. Gotta confess something. I'm not as desperate as I was 37 plus years ago. I came to you guys out of desperation. I've stayed with you out of inspiration. I still get inspired. When I see a young guy like Drew and he pulled me to the side and he was telling me and he was sweating about going up, I get inspired. When I see guys come out, check this out, you guys. Got my boy Bill here, my boy DeVal is here. And these men have voluntarily said to me, Ralph, I agree that I am going to allow your voice to be louder than my head. What a calling. What a calling. You know what makes a good sponsor? And there are some wonderful sponsors sitting in this room that I can tell you I know personally. But you know what makes a good sponsor? A willing sponsee. And every good sponsor knows that. You know, you can sit up here and because we the knuckleheads. We the people that you can't tell nothing. We the people that stand on, I'm a grown-ass man. Yeah, you know, you can't tell me nothing. You know, how you going to tell? We know that's why you up in here with us. You know, because yeah. That's who we are. There's people in here, and I guarantee you, there's somebody in here right now that pulled something in the street. I know people that I know that will sit up, get up in the police face, tell them, if you take that badge off and you drop that gun, we can get down right here. We those kind of people. We those kind of people. There's some people in here, women, don't be laughing. There's some of y'all in there that broke out all the windows and waited for the police. Yeah, I did it. What? You know. That's who we are, those people. We are the one. You don't, what? Tell me what? And magically, something happens when we get together. And it happens fast. It happens fast. First 30 days, standing in the circle, feeling at home. There's a part in the book, in our chapter, We Agnostics, when it talks about this business of God, and it describes this power as a newfound friend. It says it's a feeling of almost like coming home. This friendship, this kinship, this newness, and I fight it, I resist it. I grew up in Baptist church, you guys. I grew up, the first step wasn't the trip for me. The second step was a little more problematic because I came in here handicapped with religious prejudice. I grew up in Baptist church. You know, my mom marched the boys off to church every Sunday morning. You know, we go to church. I go up in Baptist church. Don't know how many of you guys know about Baptist. Know it's a lot of Catholics in here. Baptist church is a high energy affair, you know, and stuff be going on, and the choir gets to singing, and so at some point in the proceedings, apparently the Holy Ghost might run through the church. I don't know nothing about it. It never hit me, but apparently it was there, you know, because my mom and my grandmother and them, and I look at my mom, I'm 8 years old, and she's sitting next to me, and I'd be like, you better not jump up in here and embarrass me, right? I'm self-centered from the beginning, right? So I'm that guy, you know, and when I would listen in church, the stories that they seem like stories. My boy Steve Lee, he always talks about it. You know, Daniel in the lion's den, you know, Jonah in the whale's belly, Moses parting the Red Sea, Jack in the beanstalk. They all were the same story, right? You know, they were just stories, right? And so, and I'm calling myself clever. Religion is an opiate of the people. I'd rather smoke mine. Thank you very much. I'm from the, you know, I'm just trying to throw them little clever things out. But I stumble on truths every now and then, you guys, in spite of myself. And this, yes. Check this out, Ralph. They were stories. They were stories. That's the language of spirituality. It's stories. It's storytelling. None of that is ever meant to be little. Even up in here, we're storytellers. And oh my God, it's where the identification comes. It's our mugshot. It's our brand. It's what distinguishes us. It's what shows you what really goes on in these rooms. If you think what goes on in these rooms is the dissemination of information and the knowledge and information, nothing could be further. We do have that, and go to workshops and get them, and there's a lot of information that's being dispensed at the meeting, but don't come here for the information. Stick around for the transformation. What goes on in Alcoholics Anonymous, what takes place in these rooms, what takes place in these transformation. And we see it, I see it best in our ladies. That's why we storytell. Mari got up here and Mari was selling her story. And when Mari gets up here, you think there is no more distinguished and dignified a lady than Mari G. Oh my God. What is she doing in here with a lot like us? Debbie D. Oh my God. Glamorous diva. What is she doing in here with us? And then both of them get behind the podium and tell their stories. We be like, ooh, please don't you leave us, right? The power of the power. And here's the deal, you guys. Check this out. Here's where the power really comes from when you think about it. Isn't it interesting? And if you ever give it some thought, you'll think about it now. The person that's telling the story is not the person that's in the story. What? Anybody else sit out there sometime and look, and you try to imagine them being the one? What? I know that's you saying you did it. I can't see you like that. Mari, I can't see you on the park bench. I can't see you in the nut house like that. What? That's what we do. The language, the story, so the language is spirit. So I came in here, you guys, and that first step, I had that experience. Jeff went through it. I'm glad I don't have to because I'm running out of time. But the second step experience came to believe the power greater than me. Do you know what takes place at our meetings? Yeah, I know a lot of stuff that takes place. One of the things is I start learning the culture. For me, I fell in love with the fellowship before I fell in love with the program. I was around here 18 months before I got a job. I'm a guy that's an all-in guy. I'm all in. We have a broad third tradition in Alcoholics Anonymous, and our third tradition is the only requirement for membership is the desire to stop drinking. And that is a wonderful thing. The moment you express a desire to stop, you on the team. Can't nobody put you off. You don't have to audition. You don't have to try out. You made it. Bam, on the team. Can't nobody put you off. And by the hand claps, I see most of us would agree that's a wonderful thing. That is a broad umbrella. But check this out. Everybody that's on the team ain't in the game. Put me in the game. Put me in the game. Mr. Speaker, what the hell are you talking about? Put me in the game. You know what? I play ball. And whenever I went out to play ball, I never intended to sit on the bench. Now, don't get me wrong. We need bench warmers. We need scrubs. We need spectators. We even need commentators on the game to make them think that puts them in the game. But put me in the game. I'm not, fellas, I don't even do strip clubs because I don't like looking. Put me in. I'm not a spectator. Put me in the game. Well, Mr. Speaker, what the hell are you talking about? Put me in the game. How do I enter into this? Well, the first entryway for me, and I know people talk about, meeting makers, man, and people. Check this out. I'm getting ready to get on a soapbox, you guys. I'm giving you neon sign. Ralph is getting ready to opine. Okay. When you get me, you get all of me. I'm sorry. I try to minimize that, but okay. Every now and then, I'm going to opine. And one of the things I'm going to opine about is quit share shaming. Everybody got something to contribute. We're a big choir. And everybody's not singing off the stage. Everybody's not singing. We got altos, tenors, sopranos, and in this choir, everybody's singing, and every note counts. So the person that comes to the podium and all they have to share is the meeting makers. Okay. Me and Les, we went to an Usher concert. spent a lot of money. We went, surprised her, went to Vegas. It was a big deal. You guys should have been there. Anyway, when we went to the Usher concert, and when we got there, we get in, and the guy takes our tickets, and he takes us to our seats. That guy is called the usher. Some of the people that get up to the podium and they say 90 means, or they say meat making, they're the ushers. Stop bashing the ushers. Stop bashing that message. When they get to the meeting, because these people are encouraging people, and that might be the best they got. Now, when they get to the meeting, sing your song. Don't spend your time bashing the ushers. Sing your song. The usher's job is to get them to the meeting. Your job is to now sing your song. And so that's what we do. Everybody in here, sing your song in your voice. Each speaker in his own language and from his own point of view shares how he established this relationship. Sing your song. And so when you go to meetings, it's a lot of stuff that's going on in meetings that I don't know about. So I'm going to meetings. I'm going to put me in the game. And so I'm in there. So the first entryway is a home group and going to meetings. I'm going. I don't realize I do workshops on the second step, and it's a lot of stuff, and go to We Agnostics. It's a lot of stuff about the second step and asking myself the question, do I now believe? Am I willing to believe? But here's the deal that happened for me in the second step, you guys. And this is why what we have is so precious to me. What we have, we don't even know. We don't even know what we do for each other, because you slow walk me into my say. More than anything else, I think what led me into a relationship, into the beginnings of the relationship, even one, was I go to meetings. And I don't care how many, in Southern California, in Los Angeles alone, we have over 3,000 meetings. So you go to meetings, and I go to meetings everywhere. I don't care where I go to a meeting. Somebody will jump up, and Bill would say, my name is Bill. Alcohol had its way with me. I found a power bigger than me. I ain't had a drink in 6 months. DeValdis, I'm over another part of town. He'd say, my name is DeValdis. Alcohol had its way with me. I found a power bigger than me. I ain't had a drink in 18 months. Then Drew is over here on somewhere else, and he said, alcohol had its way with me. I found a power bigger than me. I ain't had a drink in 2 years. Mari gets up and say, alcohol had its way with me. I found a power bigger than me. I haven't had to drink in 3. And that many of you guys can't be lying. That many of you can't be lying. And you interested me in what it was. And you slow walk me without me knowing it into this relationship with this second step. And I'm like, okay. And I go to the third step now, and I don't know this power. And a lot of people argue about knowing God's will. That ain't what the third step is about anyway. You need to know God's will. It's about me giving up on me. I don't know whether I'm walking toward the light, or I don't know whether I'm running from the fire. It really don't matter. I'm taking that third step. And it says the wording is entirely optional. First time I took it. But when it says that, that's instructive, you guys. All the dogmatic dogma people all throughout the book. It ain't so much the words and the rote and the dogma and no. I'm on a spiritual track, in a spiritual experience. I get on my knees and I say something. Okay, God, I don't know you, but I believe you know my name is Ralph White, and I've made a mess of it. And I don't know you, but those people give you excellent references. Those people I'm coming to you based on their recommendation, and I don't know. While I'm down here, I don't want a whole lot. I'd like to start celebrating Christmas again. I'd like to be present in the birthdays. If it ain't too much to ask, while I'm down here. Some of that self-respect, I see the men walk around here like Jimmy A., like Charlie, like Lavelle. I like some of that, if you still got some of that around here. And when something happens in my life, I don't expect it to disappear. But when you do whatever it is that you do with it, I promise, I'll tell them it was you. I tell them it was you. And I find myself, like they were saying in Tabernacle of Faith Baptist Church, I've been coming to you for years. And when he's delivered me from lions' dens, as he has, I've been telling you, it's him. When I went broke at 22 years of sobriety, and I didn't see no way out, lost a 20-year marriage, lost my house in front of everybody, didn't see no way out, didn't see no way to the other side. I'm here to report that there's growth in the valley. I'm here to report you can grow wherever you plant it. I'm here to report just when you think that you're drowning in your troubles, you're probably just swimming in grace. I'm here to report that since I signed up with you people, I've never had it so good. I'm here to report that I got off my knees and I got into action. Did that 4th step, started doing some writing. Share some things with you about this writing. It's some stuff that takes place in the spiritual realm that really don't make sense in the material world. Sometimes we think we can't time travel, we cannot erase our past. We can't erase it, but we can rewrite it. Did our first 4th step, did a 4th step. My mom was on my 4th step. Resentment, my mom caused. She was a domestic. She embarrassed me. 3rd column, affecting my self-esteem. Man, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with us? A mama like that. My pride, people looking down on us like that. My ambition. I wanted an Ozzy and hair, June Clear. I used to say the Cosby one. Now you can't say that, but anyway, I wanted a Huxtable wife, mom and, personal relationship. It affected all my stuff. And, then I got my 4th column. Check this out, you guys. What I found as a result of inventory. Powerful. Rewrite your history. Do you think, Mr. White, because I was ashamed because my mom was scrubbing people's toilets. She was on her knees doing their floors, right? It's a time in the 60s when we standing up. That ain't what we do. That ain't our lot. And I know my mom. Folk in here know my mom. And my mom is a powerhouse. My mom is a lady of influence. She is a lady with a voice. She's a lady that's passionate. And my mom, when I was looking down on her for making me embarrassed, how dare you scrub these floors and look like that and do. My mom loved her boys so much. She put her love for her boys over her own need for her own dignity and what it seemed like was selfish. That was my mom's love letter to her boys. I saw it as embarrassing. My mom's not that lady. She's not a scrub the floor lady, but my mom was a scrub the floor lady because she had 6 boys. And no, my boys are not, and never ever went with. And I'm like, wow. So these stories I've been telling about my child, I got a new childhood. I got a new childhood, you guys. Run to that 4th step. Oh my God, there's gold. There's so much here for us in this process of uncovering, discovering, and discarding. We are, oh my God, it's time for me to get out from here. I just have to bullet point a couple of things really quick, you guys, about what's been given to me. I didn't know, and I'm sure those 2 gentlemen, I am so grateful that 2 gentlemen sat in the gatehouse not far from here 89 years ago. And they seemed like, I know they didn't have it consciously, but I know that they had it. And they thought about me. And they thought about me. And they thought about you. When Bill Wilson lay in that hospital bed, if it had been me laying in that hospital bed with recovery imminent, and he didn't have a way of knowing it was going to be, but he was expecting, and he wasn't thinking, I need to go make these dollars. I need to go get a house for me and Lois. He thought while he lay in the bed, think of all those thousands of alcoholics who may need what it is that I had. What a wonderful thing. Can you believe it? And we get to carry the baton. We get to carry the torch. Result of coming with you guys and having my feet put on a path to really go somewhere. My friend Sharon C. always talks about, and she got in North Malpy, walking on the sunny side of the street. Saved to serve. Got a 41-year-old daughter, practicing attorney in the state of California. Never seen her daddy loading one day at a time. She never will. "29-year-old daughter, I was in the delivery room when she got here. Cannot imagine the world without her. Did not know when I signed up for this that would be also one of the ripples. Cannot imagine the world without River White. The world would not have her if I did not have you. Oh my God." You know, got grands. If I knew the grands were so cool, I'd have had them first. You know what I'm saying? My mama is still alive and kicking at 94 years old. 4 brothers in this program. And I've always wanted to do something significant. I've always wanted to do something important. And I can think of nothing more significant, and I can think of nothing more important than being a participating member of the life-saving, life-changing experience that is Alcoholics Anonymous. You'll never hear Ralph White say, "I don't know why I'm sober." I know exactly why I'm sober. I get a blessing so that I can be a blessing. Recovery for me is a gift from God. What I do with my recovery, that's my gift to God. My name is Ralph White. I am an alcoholic.